name is Ms. Ramirez, and in this segment, we're going to be looking at the color and texture of rocks. So for color, we can use our eyesight to help us determine color, and you guys are probably familiar with some examples of color ranges. We'll look more in detail at these different colors in just a second. So for color, we're going to look at the different birthstones. So birthstones are just the rocks or minerals that represent the month that you were born. Now, these rocks and minerals can come in a variety of different colors, and sometimes either your parents or yourself, you might have rings or earrings or some sort of jewelry that has your birthstone in it. So let's take a look at some of the colors that birthstones can be. So what color is this? So if you were born in the month of November, go ahead and raise your hand. If you were born in November, your birthstone color is golden topaz, and it looks like this beautiful gem right here. So again, this color is yellow. Let's take a look at our next color. So what color is this paper? So this paper is white. And if you were born in April, go ahead and raise your hand. Your birthstone is the beautiful diamond, and you can see that sparkling diamond here. So that is the color white. Now let's take a look at our next months. So if you were born in January or July, go ahead and raise your hand. And if you were born in January, your birthstone is the beautiful dark red garnet. And if you were born in July, you have the beautiful red ruby as your birthstone. So birthstones can be red as well. Let's take a look at our next color. So what color is this paper? So this is purple. And if you were born in February, June, or October, go ahead and raise your hand so we can see your birthdays. If you were born in February, your birthstone is this light purple amethyst. If you were born in June, like me, your birthstone is alexandrite, and it's this purple pink stone here. And then if you were born in October, like my mother, you have this light purple tourmaline gemstone here. So this is the color purple. Now let's look at May and August. If you were born in May and August, go ahead and raise your hands. If you were born in May, your birthstone is this dark red emerald. And if you were born in August, your birthstone is this beautiful light green peridot. So gemstones can be green. And then our last one, if you were born in March, September, or December, go ahead and raise your hand. And happy birthday to you, December folks. If you were born in March, your gemstone is this light blue aquamarine. And if you were born in September, you get the beautiful blue sapphire gem. And then if you were born this month in December, your birthstone comes in a variety of different colors. We have that dark blue tanzanite, that middle blue color, zircon, and then turquoise. So we know that gemstones can also be blue in color. So sometimes people just think of rocks and minerals as being brown and black, but they can come in all sorts of cool colors. So that was colors. Now let's talk about texture. So we can use our hands to help us feel texture. And texture just tells us how does something feel. So let's look at our first texture word. Textures can be bumpy, spiky, and sharp. So think of some things around your house or school that might be bumpy, spiky, or sharp. So let's look at one of our rocks. Think of the colors that you see both in the inside and the outside, and think of textures. How do you think this rock might feel? So I can tell that this rock is a nice shiny white. It looks like white crystals. The outside is a light brown. The outside is rough. And the inside is bumpy, and there's also some sharp pieces in there as well. This is quartz, and it's a beautiful type of mineral, nice and shiny. So let's look at our next one. So look at this one. What colors do you see, and how do you think it feels? What is its texture? So I can tell that this one is a nice golden color, or dark yellow, or bronze, and this is called iron pyrite. It's also known as fool's gold because people think it's gold, but it's not real gold, so I'm not rich. But if you were to touch it, it does feel super rough and bumpy. And some of these feel like a block. So that's pyrite. This is one of my favorites. I love the shiny stuff. So this is a type of quartz and it has lots of different colors in there. Can you name some of those colors? And it's also super shiny. So some of the colors that I see are blues at the tip. I also see purples, yellows, and that beautiful gold color as well. This one also feels bumpy because I can see, and I can also feel those bumps on it as well. And then another one that we have, this next rock is going to be rough and chalky. So take a look at this one. It's a nice white rock. You guys can probably find this in your yards. When you touch it, it leaves a white powder on your hand, sort of like when you're writing with chalk, it leaves that powder on your hands. So what do you think is the opposite of bumpy or spiky? So our next few rocks are going to be smooth or glassy. So let's look at this cool one here. This is a mineral and it's called gypsum. What color is it and what do you notice? So I can notice that it is see-through. I can put my hand behind it and you can see it. Also, if I touch it, it is rather smooth. It does have some edges, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth. And then this one here, this one is a nice black rock and it's also shiny. It's also very light. So even though it's big, it feels super light. And it also has some smooth or glassy surfaces. It feels really smooth, like if I were to touch a bottle of glass. So those are textures. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to take a look at some more rocks using a special microscope. So let me just start my screen share with y'all. So we already saw some examples of texture. So these are just some texture words, and these are some color words that you can use for review. In case you missed it, your birthstones, this slide just goes over a review of your birthstone colors. And then you might have heard me use the words rocks, minerals, and gemstones. So rocks are made out of minerals. Think of when you eat a cake. That cake is made out of different ingredients like milk, butter, and eggs. So just like that cake, rocks are made out of different stuff too. So rocks are made out of smaller things called minerals, and those minerals are made out of even smaller things called elements. And then you notice I use the word gemstone or birthstone. That's just another word for fancy minerals, and those gemstones are usually minerals that people use for jewelry because they look so pretty. So here's a close-up of a mineral called peacock chalcopyrite. How do you think it got that name? So it got the name because people thought that the colors reminded them of the feathers of a peacock, and that's this bird that you see here. So what are some colors that you guys notice? So I can see these pretty purples and golds and the blues and the greens. This is another one of my favorite rocks and mineral. Here is agate. So what are some colors that you guys see? So we have some reds, a little bit of white, some blacks and browns. Our next one, I don't know what this one is. I found it in my backyard, but it sure was pretty. It has these cool little stripes going through it, and it was this pretty blue-green color. Our next one is malachite, and it's a mineral. So look at that cool blue-green color. And then there's also some brownish red going on too. This one was super cool. This is sulfur, and it is a bright yellow color, and it's a type of mineral. It's also an element as well. And then here's a rock collection that we have. Think about what colors do you see, and how do you think they might feel? So if you were to look at these, maybe pick your favorite one and see if you can describe its color. And then our next thing, some rocks actually glow in the dark. So you can see in this video, in this image here, I have some rocks under regular light. They don't look that fascinating, but when you turn the lights off and you put this special flashlight over them called a UV light, it makes those rocks glow in these crazy neon colors. So I'm just gonna show you just a quick little clip of this video. It's from Magic Rocks, A Journey into Fluorescent Crystals. So you can see how these rocks glow and turn these cool neon green, orange, pink, and blue. So some of these rocks are super cool. And you can look at that on your own time with an adult's help. It's a pretty cool video. And my next thing is, well, why do we care what color rocks are? So rocks are super important because animals use them for shelter and for their home, and they can also use it for protection. So animals have what's called camouflage. Camouflage means that their fur or feathers is the same color as the background. So look at this picture here. Can you guys find the 3 sheep and a snow leopard? So the 3 sheep are these animals that have horns on them, and then there's a snow leopard. It looks like a cat. So see if you can find those 4 animals hiding in this image. Now I'm going to go ahead and show them to you to help you guys out. There's 1, 2, 3. So those are our sheep. And then there's a snow leopard hiding, and there he is right there. It actually took me like 20 minutes to find him. He's well hidden. So take a look at this picture. Describe the color of those rocks. Can you guys find an animal that's the same color that's hiding in those rocks? I'll give you a hint. It is spotted, and it's a spotted squirrel. And there he is. Oops, past him. There he is circled right there. Our next one, take a look at these rocks and their color. Can you find an animal that's the same color that's hiding in these rocks? And it is a bird. So hopefully you found him, and he's right there. Our next one, take another look at these rocks and see if you can find the animal that's hiding in them. And again, rocks are important because living things can use these rocks for shelter and to hide in. And so here is our moth right there. And my challenge for you guys is a rock scavenger hunt. See if you can find 2 rocks and fill in these sentence stems. So the color of my rock is blank. So use your eyes to describe the color. And then the texture of my rock is blank. So use your hands to feel those rocks and describe how they feel. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And just so you know, you can find cool rocks outside. I found this rock in my backyard. It has these 2 different colors on the inside and outside, and it has this weird little hole there. I also found this rock. It reminded me of a zebra because it has stripes. And this is one of my favorite rocks I found. It looks like a sunset. It has orange, yellows, and browns, so pretty cool color. I found this pretty pink rock. It looks like it has little white crystals in it. And this was one of my favorite rocks because it's shaped like a heart. So think about what are some cool rocks that you guys can find in your own backyard or at school.